Hello and welcome to this demo on string manipulation. In this video, we'll learn about string manipulation through an example that's often encountered in a wide range of business scenarios. We'll see how we can use string methods and properties to extract information from an input string and compose an output string. Let's begin. For this demo, we'll create a project that will extract the name of an author and bookstores where their works are available from an input string and output this information in a different format. The input format is you searched for author X. Their books can be found in the following stores: bookstore 1, bookstore 2, bookstore 3. After the execution of the workflow, the expected output format is availability for X, bookstore 1, bookstore 2, bookstore 3. Are you ready to find out how we can achieve this using UiPath Studio? Great, let's get started. We'll create a new project and we'll call it Strings Bookstore Demo. Next, we'll rename the main sequence to Bookstores Demo and annotate it. To store the initial message, we'll use an assign activity in our workflow. Let's name this activity Assign Initial Message. We'll create a string variable called Initial Message in the To field. Next, we'll open the expression editor of the value field and simply copy and paste our input string. To extract the author from the input string, we'll once again use the assign activity. Let's name it Assign Author. We'll create another string variable called author in the To field and add the following expression in the expression editor of the value field. Now let's take a moment to understand the methods that we're using here. First, initial message.split divides the message into array items using the full stop character as the delimiter. There are 2 period characters in the input text, thus splitting the initial string into 3 array elements, the last one being empty. As the author's name is found in the first element, we'll use .first method to retrieve the first array item. Now, since the result is an array, we'll convert it to a string that can be split further, hence the .toString method. So far, we've isolated the first sentence. We now need to extract the name of the author from this sentence. To achieve this, we'll use the substring method. As the name suggests, this method retrieves a substring that starts at a specified character position of an input and has a specified length. The starting position and the length are specified as the arguments for this method and are of type int32. If only one argument is provided, the substring starts at the specified character position and continues to the end of the string. In our example, as the name of the author starts after the word author and continues till the end of the first sentence, we'll provide a single argument for the substring method, which is the index position of the space character right after the word author. To figure out the index position of this space character, we'll first retrieve the starting index of the last occurrence of the word author from the initial message using the last index of method, and then add author.length. Finally, we'll use the .trim method to remove any white spaces from both ends of the resulting string. In the end, all that's left is the name of the author. Great! You can pause the video to make sure that you understand all of the methods that were explained before we move on. Next, let's process the bookstores. We'll add another assign activity to the designer panel. Create a variable called Bookstores and write an expression that extracts the bookstores from the input string and then adds them to the bookstores list. Let's pause to understand the methods used in this expression. The split method turns our string into 3 distinct array items. Nothing new here. One represents the index of the sentence that we want to extract. Remember that the starting index of an array is 0. The sentence is then turned into a string and split once again using the colon as a separator. The last element of the resulting array contains the bookstore names separated by commas. .last retrieves this element, which is then converted to string. The resulting string is split once again using the comma as a separator. The resulting array of strings contains the bookstore names, each stored in an individual element. As the last step, we convert the array to a list. Since the expression that we've used outputs a list, we must change the type of the bookstores variable to a list of strings. And finally, we'll rename the activity to Get Bookstores List. Okay, it looks good. The last step for this example is to print the message to the output panel. To do that, we'll add another assign activity and call it assign output string. We'll create one more string variable called output string and write the following expression in the value field. First, the string.format method converts the value of objects to strings based on the specified formats and inserts them into another string. The next section is a text that we want to print inside the output panel, followed by the arguments. The numbers between curly braces are format items. The number represents the index of the object whose string value will be inserted at that position. Let's not forget that indexes start at 0. The author variable is the first object and the second is the result of the string.join method. The string.join method concatenates the elements of a specified array or the members of a collection, using the specified separator between each element or member. In our case, the array is bookstores and the separator consists of the comma character and VBCR. The VBCR command moves the cursor to the next line, thus causing the following elements of the array to be printed in a new line. Let's add a log message to output the value of output string. Finally, let's run the process to see how it works. We can see that the message in the output panel has the name of the author followed by the bookstores in the format that we'd specified. Great! With this, we conclude our demo on how to use string methods and properties in UiPath Studio. To quickly sum up, we've built a process which extracts substrings from an input string, stores them in separate variables, and composes an output string by merging the variables. The methods that we've covered are split, substring, last index of, trim, toList, string.format, and string.join. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.